Well, our listeners and our viewers, this is Zodiac Broadcasting Station, and we are chatting with the president of the Malawi Congress Party, who is also the torchbearer for the TONSE Alliance in the 23rd June presidential elections, Dr. Lazarous CHAKWERA. Now, I just want to find out from you, we have problems in this country. In your view, do you think these problems, are they coming from people or systems? Who do we want to check? Is it that we don't have systems that are working, or probably we don't have people that can run those systems, or maybe we don't have systems that those people can follow? How do you look?
Gospel, I would say it's not an either or situation. I think we have a both and situation. And so we would have to, because there are times when we have great systems, great policies, and then on the other hand, you have great people, but you also have places where definitely the systems would need re-engineering, and the people would need their mentality changed so that we could have the best of both. There's been times when even the best policies have failed to be implemented because of the people who are supposed to implement the same are not right, either because they've been appointed through political appeasement, and so they are not qualified in terms of expertise.
I think that's a very important point that you've raised. How do you intend to appoint people that will be working with you in your office?
Look at
what we'll be looking for. Considering that you had people that had worked with you during the campaign, people that were there with you during the campaign.
Yes.
How have you calibrated
every Malawian can contribute and should contribute to the building of a new Malawi. You have different expertise, you have different training, and you have different talents. You need to find out, not the misplacement of people because of political appeasement, just because they worked with you in the campaign, but making sure that they are then systems that guide the appointment of certain individuals, whether they be in ministries or departments or agencies, parastatals or whatever. You need to be sure that those systems then become functional. I'll give you an example. There are already systems in place with regard to the hiring of certain CEOs. But then when you have a president and then he says, the president has appointed such and such, when there's already a system, then you know the president is a problem because they're not following the system. Because the system is designed to sift out those that may not be qualified, and then through that process come up with those that are best qualified for that particular task.
Should you be elected president, we would like to know what will be there during your first 100 days. What do you think you'll be able to do in the first 100 days of your presidency?
Well, I have already articulated a few things that we would want to begin with right away, so that we do have a budget that represents the people's aspirations and how best we can serve them. And we have a cabinet that's representative of all of that. And we begin to deal with issues that make it impossible for government machinery to move forward. And so we begin with evaluating and doing what we need to do in the public and service, as well as civil service. And then immediately we embark on measures to unite Malawians and to reconcile Malawians and to make sure these divisions that have been almost used to make Malawians more divided are taken care of. We would also want to make sure that we already begin a process of mindset change in terms of how we think and approach certain tasks. So together we can begin to say, you know, these things that are possible because we are moving like this. Over 80% of Malawians, regardless of which party they are, the major parties, according to this recent research that whose results have been made public, say Malawi is moving in the wrong direction. Within that 100 days, let Malawians feel that we've turned around and we're moving in the right direction.
A recent survey by Institute for Policy and Research. This survey tipped you to win the presidency. It said Dr. Lazarus mcCATHY CHAKWERA will become president of the Republic of Malawi. How did you receive that news? Did it energize you further? The news that, according to what they found out, you're going to become president. Did that have an impact on your campaign?
Well, it certainly gave us a shot in the arm, kind of an encouragement, a second wind when we are approaching the finish line so we can finish strong. However, this is not really surprising because we, through our own systems, discovered that this is primarily what Malawians would want to have. And so, yes, it has energized us, but we do not want to sit back and say it's already done, because it's not. And that's why we're appealing to Malawians to go cast their vote, because it's through their vote, and not just that every vote counts, but we will make sure every vote then is counted, and make sure that what the people's desire is actually translated into reality.
The day when the former speaker endorsed the TONSE alliance, I remember very well that we were the first to speak to him. In fact, he spoke to us telling us that I've endorsed the TONSE alliance. This is Right Honorable Henry Chimuntu Banda.
Yes.
He says, no, I'm from another camp, but certainly I think I am for the TONSE alliance. How are you reading that? What does that translate to you?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for such endorsement from reputable people that caliber. And I listened to you interviewing him. Your media house doing so. And one of the things that was interesting to me was the fact that he said, I have seen that this is what people where I come from are supporting. And so that tells you that, here's an honest man. And he says, this is what people want. And this is what I endorse. And I'm very grateful.
But certainly we also had another school of thinking that this has always been a tendency where, for example, there was an endorsement from IPO saying the TONSE alliance is going to win the election, and then some people are beginning, in the last minute almost, beginning to endorse the alliance. But certainly there are also people that have been around you for a long time. How do you balance the two? And in your own words, you're saying these are credible people, these are people you can depend on.
Well,
how do you look at that?
There's two ways, Gospel. we're talking about a particular individual here. And this is a particular individual that someone appointed to serve in cabinet, and he declined. This is a particular individual that has had all of the opportunities you could imagine. And so for him to be making that kind of choice, but you could also trace it back to say, whoever is campaigning in that camp, has this individual really so he done that? He must have been. So this may be a culmination to say now I can go public. You understand? I do not know, but you could ask him that question. But I'm just surmising, and I'm saying, look at here and look at what he represents. There's a whole lot that happens when you are close to an election like this, and people saying, oh, I'll do this, or I endorse this, for various reasons. It is not a strange thing for people to begin to do that even toward the end. Check politics worldwide, you'll see that happens.
Mm-hmm. In your campaign, you have been clearly against violence. You have condemned it, you have spoken against it, and you have certainly trashed violence. Mm-hmm. But it's a little disturbing that violence is still there. It's not dying permanently. What do you think is a reason for this upsurge of violence in this case? That even after being condemned, people seem to continue being violent.
Yeah, it is a matter of concern. A matter of concern not just to myself, but to many peace-loving Malawians. And you have correctly observed that I have condemned consistently. I have condemned violence. And everywhere I've gone, it's been very peaceful. I have consistently condemned violence. Everywhere I've gone, I have not been involved in that. I have never uttered words that could be deemed to encourage the same. Politicians, particularly those on the other side that we are competing with, thrive on making sure that divisions are being enhanced. I never tell people vote for me because I come from here, or or don't vote for those because they're for me. It's not about where I come from, who I'm related to. It is about what Malawians need. And so when I have done that, and it's been demonstrated, there's never been any occasion except where people have blocked me because they have been told different. For example, when leaders continue to make statements that divide Malawians, there are always rogue elements in their parties that take that as a signal to say, let's do something about this. And that is not what should be. That's why I say let's not lose focus and let's maintain the message. And this campaign has been great because we have emphasized on messaging. And this IPOR, survey, for example, has captured that and say many people now love the fact that they can consider a campaign based on the message that is being sent out. And I think, therefore, we are moving in the right direction. These rogue elements in parties that think that because you cannot think, you better use, physical force will be eliminated.
Your main competitor in this election is Professor Peter Mutharika.
Yes, sir.
When last did you speak to him?
Well,
or do you speak to him?
This is a good
someone
a good question.
in a main block of opposition and someone on the other side.
Yeah, you know, there's been people that have wanted for us to engage, and we have so given our word that we certainly can do that. But you know, there seem to be problems, and I don't know why. You know, recently the Brenthurst Foundation wanted for us to have an interface, and he declined. And so I'm saying,
did he give you the reason why he declined?
Oh no! I was not the one. It is people that wanted us to do that, and so whatever reasons he gave him,
were you willing to meet him?
Of course, I said yes to it, but then they told me he said no. So, hey, you don't force. They say you can take a horse to the river, you can't force it to drink, and so I intend to behave different. When we've been given the platform to serve Malawians, because as a former head of state, he will need to interact with me. But at this stage, I'm not forcing issues.
So you'll be able to meet him should you be elected as President of the Republic of Malawi after 23rd June?
And why should I not?
You'll be able to. What do you think will be the sort of chat when you meet him after that?
Oh, I cannot speculate at this stage. Let's just cross that deal first. Yeah.
But certainly you will be willing to.
That has always been my take, because I want to be different, and when you serve all Malawians.
We were saying that the campaign was very rough. A lot of things were said against you, as you also confirmed. How will you deal with those people that probably had said things against you, had injured you, had made you feel very uncomfortable psychologically and otherwise? How will you deal with them?
First of all, I'm a person that does not hold grudges. And those that have worked with me throughout my career know that. And so I've had people we have differed with in terms of approaches to certain things, and I've had people that have gone to the extreme of calling me all manner of stuff. I am able to genuinely forgive because I know that I have been genuinely forgiven. My faith is what has made me who I am to date. I know the heart is deceitful. I know the heart can lead one in a different direction and tell one to say, they can't do this to you. I have deliberately chosen not to obey that because I have higher values that I subscribe to, and I live by a faith that would not let me do that.
Mr. President, on 23rd June, you'll be there presenting yourself. You already presented yourself. I would want you to tell me your last word before 23rd June. What would you take as your last word? Or what would you tell Malawians as your last word before 23rd June?
I would really say, fellow Malawians, this is a lifeline that is extended to every one of you. Go out and vote. Don't sit back and say, oh, tawinakale. It will take your vote, the biggest, greatest weapon, greatest voice that you can make and use at this particular time, and say the change that we all aspire to have or dream about, the transformation that we would want to really have, the unified nation that we desire to have, the uplifting of young people with 1 million jobs, for example, the women with substance with which to begin businesses, and the farmers to say this is a real chance for us to get out of abject poverty. And the fact that you have a leadership that wants to serve you and cut out all the things that have made services to you almost impossible because of corruption and theft. You would want to have leaders that, stick by the law and follow the rule of law and so forth. This is the chance that you have, and go and vote, because we represent the face of the change that you desire. God bless you.
Dr. Chakwera, thank you very much for giving us time to talk to you. We really appreciate it.
I'm greatly thankful because of this opportunity, and not just interacting with you, but I know I'm interacting with Malawians and those wishing this country well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's how we wrap up our chat with the president of the Malawi Congress Party, Dr. Lazarous mcCATHY Chakwera, who is also the torchbearer for the TONSE Alliance ahead of the 23rd June 2020 presidential elections. Thank you very much for being a good viewer.